Hello, welcome back to English videos. Again, this is Miss Fatma Shazli talking about grammar. But today's grammar lesson is about the second and the third F conditionals. So let's start. Conditional of F. First of all, we have to know when to use the second conditional of F. Actually, the second conditional of F is used to talk about something in the present, which is impossible, because it's not true. Is that clear? Have a look at these examples. But before we have a look at the examples, let's discuss the structure of the second conditional of F. We just start by F. Then the first sentence should be in the past simple form or the second form of the verb. Then we have comma, and finally we put would plus the verb. Okay, so for one more time, we use the second conditional of F to talk about something in the present which is impossible. Have a look at these examples and let's go to another point. Here in the first example, if I won $1 million, comma, I would buy a new car, which means that this person doesn't have $1 million and he couldn't buy a new car in the present. Okay, another example, if I were you, I would quit smoking. We will discuss this point later. The third example, if I were the president, comma, I would lower taxes. This situation is out of imagination because this person is not the president, but just he imagines to be the president. Another use of the second conditional of F. Let's say that we can use the second conditional of F to give a piece of advice instead of using should. But the structure here is different from the basic structure of the second conditional of F. If I need to advise someone to do something, I will just start by if I were you. If I were you, comma, I would, plus the verb. Sometimes we can put F in the middle of the structure. So we can start by I would, plus the verb, if I were you. Also, we can say, if I were you, I wouldn't, if you are going to replace shouldn't. Look at the first picture here. If I were you, I wouldn't eat that, means that you shouldn't eat that. Here on page 88 in your students' books is the grammar rule of the second conditional of F, as we have just explained. Okay, let's answer the first exercise. Can you check the statements that describe unreal conditionals? Pause the video and start. If you please, get a pen and a paper and then start to answer exercise A. Pause the video, answer the exercise, and then go back to the video to check your answers. I suppose that you answered the exercise, so let's check your answers. The first one, if they see something first rate, they buy it. This is not unreal condition, so it's not. Number two, if you turn it off your phone in the theater, it wouldn't bother the other theater goers. Here is a second conditional statement. It's true. The third one, I'll save a lot of money on gas if I rent the Alva. It's not the second conditional statement, as here we use I will and the present simple tense. So this This is not a second conditional statement. And finally, we have number 4. She could show us how to use the Digi-Icon remote keyboard if she were here. Yes, that's correct. This is a second conditional statement. Excellent you are. Let's move to the second exercise, exercise B, grammar practice. But before I forget, in the structure of the second conditional of F, you can use could instead of would. So I can say we could instead of saying we would, etc. But here we use could to show ability. And if you answer it would, there is no problem. For example, if I were here, I could study with you. Here it shows your ability to study. Thank you. So, pause the video, start checking the questions, and then try to answer. After answering the video, you can check your answers. The first one, if the Techni-Icon 17-inch monitor were on sale, I would buy it right away. The second one, if they invented a safe way to text message while driving, people would be happy. The third example, if she knew about the Bictopia camera watch, she would use it on her trip. And the last one, what would you do if your laptop broke? Thank you for your answers. Let's go to the third conditional of F. Do you have an idea about the third conditional of F? Excellent. We use the third conditional of F to talk about the past or to describe a situation that didn't happen and or to imagine the result of the situation. Of course, its structure is different from the structure of the second conditional of F, as here we use F plus past perfect, and here past perfect means had plus past participle, then comma, then would have plus past participle. Okay, excellent. So, let's check these examples. If I had got a gold medal, I would have been happy. Means that in the past, this person didn't get a gold medal, but he was just imagining the situation of the past and its result. Another example, if I had met Susan last week, I would have given her the book, which means that last week I didn't meet Susan, so I couldn't give her the book. Another example, if the weather had been good, we would have gone water skiing, means that the weather wasn't good, so they didn't go water skiing. Excellent, students. Are you ready to check? Again, on page 90, top-notch students' books, here is the explanation of the third conditional of F, or the past unreal conditional. Have a look at the grammar box, try to study it, and let's apply on it. Here in exercise A, you will just choose the meaning of each past unreal conditional sentence. You will just try to guess the meaning. Pause the video, answer the exercise, and go back to the video to check your answers as usual. Super students. Number 1, I wouldn't have gone to class if I had known I had the flu. Here, the meaning matches answer number A. He went to the class. After going to the class, he knew that he had the flu. So the answer is A. Number 2, if we had used our GPS, we wouldn't have gotten lost. The meaning here matches answer number A. They got lost. Number 3, if they hadn't planted that new variety of tomatoes, they would have lost this year's crop. Means that they didn't lose this year's crop. And the last one, the airline wouldn't have canceled the flight if the weather had been better, which means that the airline had canceled the flight. So the correct answer is A. Thank you for your answers. We will just ask you to answer exercise B the same as you did with exercise A. Pause the video and do the same. Thank you for answering exercise B, and let's check your answers. Number 1, what would have you done if you missed the train? Here is the answer of the first question. Number 2, we wouldn't have had this digital video conference if an internet connection hadn't been available. The third one, if our huge old camcorder hadn't been broken, we wouldn't have bought this smaller one. Take care. Number 3 here, we just put the passive form of the past perfect, which is had plus been plus the past participle form of the verb. That's why we said if our huge old camcorder hadn't been broken. Thank you for your excellent answers. Number 4, if she hadn't taken her smartphone, she wouldn't have known they canceled her flight. Number 5, if they hadn't had good weather, they wouldn't have landed in Alaska this morning. Miss Fatma, can we use had? Of course, if the main verb is have. And the last one, if the weather had been better, we would have gone to the beach. Thank you, excellent students.